Shalom, shalom. You put this thing on low. Okay, shalom, shalom. This is a new Yes from Israel, Hebrew on the island too. Today's quick video, well, it's my video with a video clip. So, it's about 20 minutes in entirety. Listen, my video is called The Apex Heathens Fear Us Because of Extinction. Listen, I'm going to let the video do the talking. Listen, I have over 200 something videos. On my old channel, I had like maybe 600 or 700 videos. They terminated it. But a lot of my videos, if you're a subscriber, you watch my channel frequently, you know that all my videos, I give a lot of scripture, breakdowns, etc., etc. But this video, it speaks for itself. See, listen. The reason why I want to upload this video and share it with you, because all my videos are my notes. Because, I don't know about in your life, but in my life, the occupation that I had, I was around a whole bunch of apex heathens for 25 years until I retired. They have crazy mouths, saying crazy things. I'm 55, so, I was back in the day. And could you imagine what's coming out of their mouths? Imagining all the jokes, Negro jokes, and all this stuff like that. King David was around. He would say, "It's this uncircumcised heathen saying," But why I make this video is because I want you to have this information that I didn't have way back then, and most I probably made it where I didn't have it because I probably wouldn't be retired because I would have made so many of them mad. They would have, put their schemes and devices on me where they would have got me fired. So, the Most High knows best. So, I want to share this with you. I want you not to forget it. I'll sum it up for you before I put it on. So when you're hearing it, you're going to know, you're going to match it together and go, okay, this is what it's talking about. See, listen, we know that the apex heathens, and I don't have to say their name. I'm not scared of them. I want to keep my channel up. So, they have AI and they pick up words like words that they don't like so they can flag you and get community strikes and stuff like that. So what I try to do is try to avoid some of the harassing words to them. They're joyful words to me and you, but they're harassing words to them. They don't like it. So, to keep my channel up, the apex heathen, you know exactly who they are. I refer to them as mosquitoes. Like here, where I live in the Dominican Republic, there's so many mosquitoes. Sometimes they don't bother because they spray a lot and stuff like that, but they bother all the time. Like they don't have brakes. They only have go, a go button. They just bother you until you kill them. So I depict the apex heathen like that because that's what they're doing in America. Not just right now in 2020, ever since. They bother the Negro like crazy. They think they're not doing anything, but because they're crazy. They're the devil that the Bible speaks of. It's normal behavior for them to lash out and do all these crazy things towards the Negro. The world, we are the soul of the earth. All the greatest inventions are made by the Negro. They stole it. We are the Aboriginal Americans. They tell you, go back to Africa. No, we're not from Africa. There's other black people there, just like there's other heathens all over the place. Like there's Polish heathens, Russian heathens, Yugoslavian heathens, Greek heathens, Irish heathens, Scottish heathens. They're all different. Well, there's different Negroes, type of dark race people. The Africans over there. The Aboriginals were in America already. Those are the Indians. If you looked up in the Webster Noah dictionary in the 1800s, it said the Aboriginals, aka Negroes, the Indians, Negroes. Listen, when you're dealing with the heathen, apex heathens, they are liars. They're that one in Isaiah 14, that Lucifer that they're talking about, because that's a man. And they're the father of lies. They lied about all the history, all the maps are wrong, everything. So, some of you Negroes even can't think, oh, no, we're from, no, we're not. We're the Aboriginals. We are the pre-Columbus Indians. The post-Columbus that you see, the Asian, Mexican, Spaniard-looking type of people, those are Johnny-come-latelys. They put those people in there so that they can tell the world, see, the Indians and the Mexicans and all are these people, because they've been trying to hide our heritage. The 12 tribes. Tribes are Indians. We're the Indians of the North and North America, South America, all the Caribbeans and all the Western Hemisphere is the old world. They lied. Everything's a lie. Yeah, they did. They stole all the inventions, all the modern conveniences that we have, the lights, the phones, the internet, all that stuff, GPS, surgery, everything. They stole everything. They are liars. And some of you Negroes, no, they couldn't have lied about that. Yes, they're the father of lies. Well, the Most High made crooked, you cannot make straight. You think they just became crooked in 2020? No, they've been crooked ever since. So listen, I don't want to get off, because when I start talking about the apex heathens, and you know who they are, I can go on and on and on and forget about the video. And I don't want to do that because it's late, and I don't want to go to bed so late. So listen, I share my notes. So, and for those guys that are looking at that tent back there, it's the Feast of Tabernacles, the Feast of Booths, tents. 7 days, the Israelites, when they were in the wilderness, they slept in the booths, and it's to reflect ceremonially that we were in tents and booths and stuff like that. I follow the lunar calendar, the lunar schedule, and that's why that's back there. Sleep and rest in it. I don't put it outside because it's snakes. There was a big python, like not right in here, but like on the highway, gigantic. It was like on the median where it divides one side of the highway to the other. It's half of its body was over top. It was trying to go to the other side. It was huge. It was like a pickup truck. You know what I'm saying? So it was out there. They didn't kill it. They helped it kind of get across the highway, and they let it go. So, I live in a resort complex. So it went that way. You know what I'm saying? He's sleeping outside. It's not dangerous because there's pools and stuff, but you never, nah. But my booth is right here. Safe and sound. So anyway, the apex heathens, and you know who they are, they fear us because of extinction. You're going to say, but what do you mean? We're going to get them or no? In the end, the Most High is going to, he says in Ezekiel 25, by the hand of my people, I'm going to destroy Edom. Edom is not the apex heathen. He's another Negro type guy. Okay, it's another video. Go on my channel and look up who's Esau and stuff like that. And it's going to tell you with scripture. Scripture is only Genesis to Malachi. Forget about that fake New Testament, fake Jesus, Apocrypha, and all that other fake books. Jeremiah 6:16, as for the old path, which is the good way, and walk therein. The old path is what Moses, King David, and Joshua and Caleb taught. That's the old path, not the New Testament. Only Savior is the Most High, the Ancient of Days, God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Exodus 3:14. So they fear us because of extinction. That's why back in slavery times, they would cut the testicles and penis from the, why? No race ever did something like that to their enemies and stuff. It's not necessary because they fear us. Just put them in jars and sell them, and when they're burning us, they put on postcards and hanging us. Why? Because you're the devil that the Bible speaks of, and you're scared. They're scared of the extinction possibility, and it's going to come to them. Not because of us, because how the divine Most High, the Ancient of Days, designed this whole thing. They are recessive. They have albinism. When your skin is pale, it's albinism. Like they can call it leprosy. Not enough of it. They got like sulfur melanin. We have selenium melanin, the good melanin. Sun wants to destroy them. And the women are not fertile. So their birth rates are very low. And just with the birth rates are apex heathens. And they know, some of us know it, and that's why I'm making this video, so you know it. They know by, I don't know if it's 2050, whatever, they're going to be dwindled. And don't let them fool you. They are the minority. Brown skin, dark skin people are the majority on the planet. Remember, you're dealing with the father of lies. That's what you guys got to get out of here. Remember, like Hitler said, like, if you lie enough, and a lot of times, after a while, people start believing it because you're saying it so much. Don't believe that lie. Reject the lies, all the lies out of that apex heathen's mouth. Reject all the lies out of that apex heathen's history books, scientific books. He's a liar. We are the majority, the dark-skinned races. They are the minority, which is dwindling. And they fear us on a physical level, mainly because of extinction, possibilities. So we are the threat to them. We're the threat because we're the Israelites. The Negroes are the only ones who are the Israelites. We're the only ones that fulfill Deuteronomy 28 and Leviticus 26 and all the other prophecies in the Tanakh. No other race. We're that people, the 12 tribes. Tribes is Indians. We're those Indians. They know it. The problem is a lot of you don't know it. And they fear extinction. Now let me tell you, and I'm going to show this video clip. It's going to explain it all in detail from a doctor. I already told you, their fertility rates is at the bottom. They don't reproduce enough. So that in itself is going to extinct them. They are the minority. They lie. Just keep saying, you're the minority, you're the minority. No, we are the majority. Worldwide, this is the majority. Don't let them fool you. And second is, they know this, and a lot of you don't know this. So put it in their face if they ever say, I'm not saying they're starting any trouble, but if they ever, they're always talking, and they're like mosquitoes, always bothering, molesting. We're superior. No, you're not. You're recessive. You have recessive genes. That's why they have albinism. That's why skin is pale. That's why they always want to tan. They say, tall, dark, and handsome. That's what their women want. And then they say, they all want to tan. They got, the tanning business in America and around the world is in the billions. They hate us, but want the same skin texture, color as us. Listen, just forget everything they say. And that extinction thing is real, and they know it. They know since they have the computers and people are becoming wiser and stuff like that, they fear us. So what's the best thing? Shoot us down, give us life sentences in jails, frame us, kill us, poison us with water, food, and air, make us mentally crazy, make us perverse, homosexuality, so we don't reproduce, or genocide, abortion clinics, etc., because they are fear that the extinction possibility. And it's very real. And let me tell you, you have two Negro people, two dark race people, they may have a baby, dark-skinned baby. You take a Negro man or Negro woman, aka Hebrew Israelite man or woman, and they marry a apex heathen or any of the other heathens with albinism, what's the baby going to come out? The baby's going to come out light brown or brown. Now, the apex heathen who has albinism, leprosy, they marry a Negro woman what is the baby going to come out? The baby's going to come out brown because the Negro woman, the Hebrew Israelite woman, has powerful genes. She has superior genes, where that apex heathens has recessive genes, mutant genes. So that baby's going to come out. So even if he takes one of our women, or even an African dark woman, his baby's going to come out light brown or brown. So think about it. If all the Negro men, the Negro Hebrew Israelite men, the Negro African men, the other Negro men in the world, if they start marrying, that's why they would like never bring a Negro home, or they would say Negro home to marry her, you know, why? Because in their minds, the real intelligent ones, they know, yo, these darkies start marrying our daughters. They're not going to never make apex heathen babies with albinism. We want albinism all around the world. We're going to go extinct because our genes are recessive. They mate with us, the baby's going to come out light brown or brown. If we mate with them, the baby's going to come out light brown or brown. We hate them niggas. That's why they hate us so much, because we have the power, which they hide from you in the books. They hide from you scientifically. They never bring it up. X-nay, never bring that up, because then these niggas are going to think they're superior than us. They're going to start talking about us being recessive, us having mutant type genes. And they're going to walk around with their chest puffed out. And they actually can extinct us. We want albinized babies walking around, because we are the perceived make-believe superior people on the planet. Shh, don't tell anybody. So that's the reason. They know if, on a physical level, if all the Negro men just took their daughters, there will be no apex heathens walking around the planet. Think about it. The apex Chinese and all of them. If the Negro men got a hold of their daughters, all their daughters, the whole earth would be light brown and dark. And that's their extinction. That's why the fight is on. Kill those Negroes. Suppress those Negroes. Lie to those Negroes. Hopefully this was edifying. Let me get to the video. Call it wraps. That was the summary of what you're going to hear. You're going to hear from a lady, a Negro, who is a psychiatrist and a medical doctor. And she explains it deliciously. Remember this. And you have an apex heathen going off with the mouth, tell them about the extinction. Show them that they are not superior. You know, beat at their door when they try to bring the smoke. Make them feel this low. Here we go.
Luis. All over the place. You're a psychiatrist and you're author of a theory. Here's what she's saying. First of all, white people are dying out. Into the next century, everybody on earth may be of color. And we're scared about it. Already we're a minority. Did you know that? I'll guess 25% of us are white, maybe less than that. And that's the reason we're racist. We're not only afraid of dying out, but we're also jealous because we have no color. You're laughing. How come we spend so much time in the sun trying to get brown?
Remember, this is an old video. Donna here.
Can't make a baby of color. And that's the reason for racism and lynching. And if how do you explain? You believe we're racist?
No.
No, we're not racist. Yes, we are racist. What is this, an accident that all the cities are becoming blacker and blacker while the outer reaches of major metropolitan whiter and whiter? That's an accident? Fuck. When you get get on an elevator and you're the only white person on the elevator. How do you feel? What'd she say? What'd she say? Oh, she's scared of elevators. Okay, here we go. Francis Cress Welsing, MD. You are a Washington, D.C. based psychiatrist, and you're author of the Cress, your middle name, we should say, Theory of Color Confrontation and Racism. You call racism white supremacy. To be sure, a provocative and controversial theory on skin color and oppression. Well, I'm ready. So is this mostly but not exclusively white audience. Let them have it, Doctor. Boy, oh boy, you need an escort to get out of your speeches.
No, now, let me just give you a little background. This paper was written approximately in 1969 and presented in 1970. It was written for a group of black psychiatrists who were looking at racism.
Yeah.
It was also written because as a psychiatrist and working in a hospital trying to treat black people and white people, but recognizing that the majority of the problems that black patients had in a psychiatric hospital, when you took a history, you would run smack into racism. So I knew I had to understand racism to help solve the mental health problems of black people. So out of my brain computer, putting in the question, why? Why do we see this behavior? Why have we seen it for hundreds of years? So I thought about these two things, basically two facts. That even though the white population says that people of color are minorities, that it is the white population that is the minority on the planet.
That's the reality you're saying.
That's the reality.
Yeah.
That in spite of the fact that black people, non-white people have heard over and over again, you're genetically inferior because you are non-white. That in reality, white skin is a genetic recessive status, not as said by Francis Welsing. You see, meaning that if you and
I were to have a baby, the baby would have color, and you make the contribution, and I don't.
That white plus colored. Well, wait a minute. It's not Francis Welsing that is concerned about the disappearance of white. Ben Wattenberg just wrote a book, The Birth Dearth. There have been multiple articles in the newspaper talking about the decline of Western populations.
Yeah, here's the Washington Post, just to name one. We are a depopulation bomb, the withering of the Western world. Here, incidentally, this was the percentage of the West's population in 1900, the turn of this century, about 30%. This is where it will be less than 10% in the year 2075. Here's where we are about today, 15. So we're not having babies.
So whites are not having babies.
All right, hold on. We have a commercial. Let me get off of that.
And there is the concern about white genetic annihilation. In other words, I look at, this is Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday holiday. And people will say, well, here's a man who talked about love. Yeah. Why was he killed? And I say that the deeper logic is, what if all black and white people and non-white people and white people love? What would happen to white people? White would disappear. You see, just mix all of the people on the planet up together.
If race didn't matter, or if color didn't matter, it follows with the jet plane.
No, I'm not saying if it didn't matter. I'm saying that indeed, if there was a mingling of all of the people, because
that's what I'm saying. Okay, fine. Absence of prejudice.
The ability, wait, don't confuse what I'm saying. I'm saying that if we mixed all of the people presently on the planet, stirred them up,
the white freckle-faced people would be gone.
Genetic recessive status would disappear. And that if I did a survey and everybody didn't have to, face anybody, if I said how many people who are white want their children to be white, want their grandchildren to be white, want their great-grandchildren to be white, want their great-great-grandchildren to be white. And I've gone all over the country in England and asked this question. Yeah. Everybody wants the children and the generations to remain white.
Yes.
If you do, then you have to do something to make sure that that happens. And I say that what the thing is that is done, and particularly in relationship to black non-whites, because we have the greatest genetic potential to cause white genetic annihilation.
Because you're the blackest.
Because we, right.
The most color.
Right. We have this ability to produce melanin pigment. We have more of it than anybody else. And so the most pressure is on black people. As a matter of fact, the black people learn, all non-white people over the world learn. If you're black, stay back. If you're yellow, you're brown, stick around. If you're yellow, mellow, white, right. I can go to England and the people can just say the same thing. Doesn't matter whether, if you go to the Philippines, because there has been a confrontation of brown with white. Everybody knows the more pigment you have, the more pressure that is on you.
Yeah.
But they didn't understand why. I said the why is for the purpose of white genetic survival.
All right. And you're saying that blacks have no similar hidden subconscious anxiety about their blackness being undermined by the presence of white?
We don't have that fear. And I think that this is something that is not understood. You see, in other words, if I don't worry about, as a matter of fact, under white supremacy, the non-white people try to get lighter. You see, because the less pigment you have, the less threat you are to white, and so the greater opportunity that you have.
Yeah. The mass inability of whites to live and attend school in the presence of non-whites, manifested by the patterns of black and white housing and education throughout this country, and indeed throughout the world, is seen, according to your thesis, in terms of the color confrontation thesis, as the apparent total psychological discomfort experienced by whites in situations in which they must daily face their color inadequacy when they confront their neighbors of color. You go on.
I predicted. Look, I wrote that in 1970. I said you cannot have integrated housing. You cannot have integrated schools.
You still believe that?
I mean, the evidence. I always look at the evidence. If Mr. Black and Mr. White live next door to each other, they have the same job, the same income, the same car, the same furniture. Yeah. They both walk out of the house in the morning. Good morning, Mr. Black. Good morning, Mr. White. But Mr. White is still looking, but you got something that I don't have.
You're saying he's saying that
he's saying, right.
Oh, wait a minute. All right, we'll give you a chance in just a moment.
Wait a minute.
Now, wait a minute.
Let's look at.
They're nice people. You're really going to like them, I promise you. Once in a while, a couple of them stop before they come up here, and you got to keep them out.
Let's look at this.
Go ahead, look at it.
Very fortunately.
Now, let me just understand this. See, the reason they're groaning is, that's an awful bad rap to take. Let me just arrogantly try and reword what I think you're saying. Now, don't get crazy. Let me say.
Please,
Mr. White is looking at Mr. Black, and he's not consciously saying, "Don't you dare."
Not consciously.
So it is under him.
Not consciously. We could go on for 3 hours. Not consciously.
All right.
Okay. I am saying that this behavior is at the subconscious level, and there's a lot of evidence. Yeah. For example, just on Saturday, the New York Times had an article talking about the percentage of people who want a tan. 66%. I have the article if anybody wants to look at it later. 66% of white adults think they look better with a tan. 70% of white adolescents think they look better with a tan. What do white people? Oh, I look so pale. Now, this is not something that Frances Welsing is putting on people. White females even say their ideal mate is who? Tall, dark, and handsome.
Wait a minute, just a minute. That whites do indeed desire to have colored skin can be seen by anyone at the very first signs of spring or summer, when they begin to strip off their clothes as many pieces as the law will allow, often permitting their skins to be burned severely in an attempt to add some color to their white, pale, colorless bodies, rendering themselves vulnerable to the dreaded skin cancer in the process. Most cosmetics also are seen as an attempt to add color to their skin. Such coloring makeup is even now being provided for the white male. Well, guess who has you-know-what on at this moment? And if you don't mind my saying so, I do. I put it on myself. I don't go to makeup. I have a shine on my nose I've got to take, but I feel better. Yeah, I've got the whitest skin in the whole neighborhood. I'm telling you. No kidding. I'm not bragging. I'm saying as a matter of...
This is not... My discussion is not about making fun of white people. My discussion is trying to explain behavior. See, people come to psychiatrists
I value
and say,
your effort.
why am I doing this? For example, when I was a very small child, I wanted to understand why black men were lynched. I asked my grandmother and parents, why would this be done? And my grandmother gave a statement. She said something like, well, some people just want to act ugly. But that wasn't sufficient, as a psychiatrist.
May I interrupt for just a moment? Here's the read on that, and I know you want to add to this or make it just a little more complicated. But the black male was lynched and often castrated because of the white male fear of the black male's. The myth is the black male's extraordinary sexual capacity.
It's not a myth.
So he was lynched by frightened white males who feared that if he ever got anywhere near the white women, that somehow the white male would be a sex. Now,
but
you want to add
his sexual capacity. What are we talking about? I say that the fear is that the black male can cause white genetic annihilation. And this is why the attack on the genitals, there's no history in the world of any non-white men attacking white men's genitals. But why do white men feel the need to zero in on the black man's genitals and cut them off? You see, and a lot of this is played out in symbolic behavior in this culture. For example, the culture says, keep your eye on the ball.
Yeah.
Now wait a minute. Look at something that look at something that people do not look at. Look at the game of billiards. See, the psychiatrist knows that through games we play out subconscious activity.
Yes, they do.
Okay, now look at this game. Here's a game with colored balls.
Yes.
All over the table.
And guess who gets to shoot the ball?
The white ball knocks all the colored balls under the table.
And often saves the
black ball, right.
Till last.
Till last.
Because there's a specialness about the black. Yeah. Let me, Dr. Wellesley, now, you're not surprised at the response of this audience. Just a couple of things here for the sake of our conversation. First of all, we welcome your contribution. That is, for what it's worth, I certainly do. Which does not mean, therefore, that I or this audience necessarily agree with everything you say. But let me tell you what I think is important. I don't think we've asked enough questions about this thing called racism, which has, in my opinion, the capacity to bring us down as a nation, if not, certainly not only here, but in many parts of the world. It is in the American bloodstream, and it's especially manifest here. So good for you trying to figure this out, because it's no kidding, it's my opinion, not enough smart people are really speaking to this. We run away from this. Another point you make, you think the token black is an effort to assuage this hidden feeling that we have? Is that, how do you explain?
Well, the token black, you might say that was under pressure. You see, that you have to, the civil rights movement, you have to include some non-white people. But every effort is made to move around that. And I understand, it's tragic. And it's injustice.
Yeah.
And I'm not just saying here, I'm saying all over this planet, whether we're talking about South Africa. And see, one important example that people do a lot of surface talking about is the Holocaust. See how quiet it is? The Holocaust in Germany was because what? Because the Semites of the Jewish religion were said by the Europeans to be non-white people. The Holocaust didn't just occur.
So you think that there's
Wait a minute. Do you see what I'm saying? If we have denial going on about this, all you have to do is look at what the Nazis are saying today. And what the Klan is saying today.
So you're saying anti-Semitism has the same root?
If you read Hitler, if you read all the documentation,
anti-Semitism has pigmentation as it's
had to do with the Semites. Look at the part of the world that the Semites come out of. I say that the word Semite comes from the Latin prefix semi, meaning half. It's a word like mulatto. It means a combination of black African women, Greek and Roman soldiers, and you had that mixture. 2,000 years of continuing mixture in Europe made a lighter group of people.
Okay, can I just...
that were still considered to be non-white.
When you use lighter and you say recessive, and you use the word recessive gene. I think I know what that means.
This is not my language. This is the language of formal genetics.
That's true. But you equate recessive with inferior. Now, just hang on one second. I don't claim to be the first one to bring this to your attention, but aren't you dangerously close to Joseph Mengele with all this?
No.
How about Shockley?
No. Wait a minute. No. What I am trying to do is explain some very, very important behavior on the planet that other people have shied away from dealing with.
Yeah.
You see, and to say that because you talk about it's just like if somebody studied tuberculosis and say, well, are you against the tuberculosis organism? No, you're trying to understand
but you do bring judgments on me. So when you equate recessive with inferior, that's not science. That's judgment.
No. I'm not. That's not what I say. I say that the people who are feeling an absence of color, that they look at themselves in that way. And they have a response to therefore say, if I can get in charge of all these non-white people, then I am going to be superior. So nobody is uncomfortable in the white collective with all the white superiority that goes on every day. Look at television. White. Wait a minute.
All right, I got it. Hold on a minute. All right, hang on.
Goodness.
Hold on a second. There are a couple of things which you listen. There are people out there who say, "Look at all the progress we're making." I am not one of those people. Nevertheless, there are examples of integrated communities. Truly are.
But see, the answer is not a question of are there a few black people living where white people live. The issue is that if we are going to have peace on the planet, there has to be justice. And white supremacy, where you have the tiniest number of people on the planet holding down the vast majority of people on the planet, happens to be the highest form of injustice.
Yeah.
And so if we are going to have peace, see, I'm not talking about destroying white people. I'm saying, but we do have to eliminate white supremacy. And I say in the back of that paper, the challenge to white behavioral scientists, help people who classify themselves as white become comfortable with their color and comfortable with their minority status, so that they are not feeling negative and then mistreating all of the people that they say are non-white.
Listen, hopefully you enjoyed that. Listen, that's my second time watching it, and it's just informative and powerful. She was very nice. You see the reaction in the crowd. Recessive is inferior. Just wrap your arms around it. Put it in your notebooks. When they come to you with that nonsense, listen, you're recessive. You have albinism. You fear extinction. Give them those examples that if all the Negro men made it with all their women, they would be finished. Even if their men made it with all the Negro women, they would be finished. So what does that say when you tally all of that up? Shows recessive inferior. Because if they were superior, that would never occur. Don't let anybody tell you. Deuteronomy 7, Most High made us the Negroes, who are the only Israelites, and been scattered to the four corners of this flat earth, superior to all the others. He said, we are above all the people upon the face of the earth. We're a special chosen nation group. It says in 2 Samuel chapter 7. Yeah, I think it's 2 Samuel chapter 7. It says, and what one people, or 1 Samuel, I think it's 2 Samuel 7. If it's not, it's 1 Samuel 7, but I think it's 2 Samuel 7. I'm going off the top of my head. It says, what one people in the earth is like Israel, a people that the Most High redeemed unto himself. There's no people like us. We are the superior people. And those apex heathen believe in the Creator. The Creator is telling them through the scriptures. The scriptures only Genesis to Malachi. Exodus 19. We are a peculiar treasure unto the Most High. We're a kingdom of priests. He made us superior. Deuteronomy 10:15 says, the Most High said, I had a delight unto your fathers, the Israelites' fathers. I had a delight to your fathers to love them and their seed after them above all the people upon the face of the earth. Even until this day, we are above. Amos 3:1 and 2 said, out of all the families of the earth, only Israel has he known. But is he going to make a recessive family member? No, he's going to make a superior family member, which is you, Israelite, you, Negro. Live into your name, your category, your biblical status. Apex Heathens, 0. Hebrew Israelite, aka Negro, 100. Think that way. And it's not pride, it's biblical pride. It's a different from secular pride and biblical pride. This is just what the Most High has deemed, declared, decreed. Go with what the Most High. You say you love the scriptures. Scriptures is what you eat every day. Eat of the scroll, then eat of it. Believe it. Here at Hebrew on the island, I believe it. We're superior to all the other people upon the face of the earth. Thus saith the scriptures, if we're Israelites. And by the looks of it, we are. Hopefully this was edifying. This is a new yes from Israel, Hebrew on the island too. Get your head up. This is a new yes from Israel, Hebrew on the island too. Until next time.